Hello guys. So the other day I saw a video by Cubehamster. Really nice to see him working on some stuff again. And he made some Slimeblock cartridge for one of his contraptions he's going to be working on. And Selulance and I were inspired by the design because his seemed really cool, like the idea is really neat, but it seemed a bit overcomplicated. So Selulance started messing around with simplifying the vertical conveyor, and then afterwards I joined and made a slightly neater version and also added a slime block separation on top of that. So this is the design we came up with. And it's a bit of a mess what it does with the pistons there, and it's a bit slow as well, but it does work. So it separates these slime blocks out to that top section there, and when it runs out, it moves all the cartridges up and puts a new one in place. Here, of course, to demo it, I just have this cartridge that's 3 long, but it works with any length up to 11. It can't be 12 because it needs to stick to that piston for everything to work properly. But other than that, you can pick any size basically. So this will also work fine. And I just think this looks really cool. Like, it's not too much to say about it, except that it's kind of neat. So we chose to move the slime blocks 2 blocks upwards, such that we're sure it doesn't stick to anything afterwards, and then you can easily add your pusher into any direction yourself. It's not part of the circuit, but it's very easy to hook that up to this. So for instance like this, you can just push it out wherever you like. I'm on a server, these aren't real blocks. Ghost blocks. Let's do it once more. So here you can see some of the things we used in the design. So the layouts, but also the most important thing is this little system for moving the cartridges upwards. So we don't actually really move the pistons out of the way such that they don't stick, but instead Selulance came up with the idea of just extending the pistons, making them non-sticky and movable, whatever. And then we just retract them, push them, and they can do their thing, and then make them extend again such that they don't interfere with the neighboring pushes. And then if we give this a proper 4-tick pulse, if I can do that, there you go, it actually just spits it out and properly moves it one upwards. Then at the top for the separation we also have some funky stuff going on. So first off in the sequence it will do this to remove that observer block out of the way such that it doesn't interfere when we pull this in. Then we push this out, and 1 tick later we extend this bottom piston, which will separate that slime block from the rest. Then we push that forwards and extend this again in order to push it 1 block further up, retract all of that, and then we at some point this re-extends. We push that back and push this back. And this is a pretty interesting part of the build in my opinion. When we push this back, it activates this dropper, which will move an item out of this dropper, deactivating this comparator. And then the item is in this dropper. And now in the sequence we will power, or make this observer power exactly after this pushes, which means if there's a block here, this will receive a will be butt powered, and it receives an update from that piston, which then moves the item. Okay, can I power this? Moves the item back into this dropper, powering this observer again, and it will be depowered for short enough such that no pulse comes through. Like we can detect it being depowered only for a short time instead of a long time. But then in case this runs out, there's no block to butt power this dropper through. So then when this deactivates, it will when this deactivates, it will remain deactivated, and that whole thing can then in turn trigger the system to move the next cartridge into place. So yeah, that's some of the technologies we used for this design. It's definitely stackable downwards, or at least only limited by the world height limit. I'm not planning on using this, but it was a pretty fun build nonetheless. Actually let me show you some of the prototypes I made with Selulance as well. This was basically the first thing Selulance made and showed me. And this works. I, however, didn't like the fact that it was asymmetrical, so then a bit of lag. Then I started working on this version, which is symmetric, and Selulance started playing around with some separation mechanics, which we then slightly modified for the final design. And here are a couple of iterations. I made this one, but it used some repeater bug here for it to work, and I don't like that it used that bug, so I made a couple of different iterations. And finally we have the one I showed in this video, which works in all 4 directions. It's a bit slow, but again, I'm not planning on using this anyhow. It was just a fun build. So that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and see you all later. Bye.